you're brave enough to brave the elements, I think you won't be disappointed in hearing from Dr. Avriel Epps. She is our last lightning talk speaker for this round of lightning talks. Dr. Epps is an educator, an academic, and a community organizer. Her work explores how bias in predictive technologies affects racial, gender, and socio-political identity development. She's also the co-founder of AI for Abolition, a community organization dedicated to increasing AI literacy in marginalized communities and building community power with and around data-driven technologies. Please give a huge lighthouse welcome for Dr. Avriel Epps.
Thank you. All right, there's a lot going on right now. So if you could all just join me in taking one collective breath. So we can center ourselves a little bit amongst the craziness. I want to start by saying that most people experience algorithms as recommendations. What to watch next, what to buy, who to follow. I have a slightly different experience with them. A collection of algorithms brought the former friend who had sexually assaulted me when we were teenagers back into my life as an adult. The first were social media algorithms that made him go viral for the advocacy work that he was doing while he was in prison. It was really hard to see him show up on my feed over and over, and it reminded me that human beings are capable of change and transformation. Then, another set of algorithms led me to a retreat where I was invited into a transformative justice circle with that same person. The support and safety of being in that accountability process brought both of us more healing than any prison sentence ever could have. Yet we know that AI is currently being used to expand the power of a criminal legal system that is designed and optimized for surveillance and punishment and not accountability and healing. For example, we know that facial recognition technology falsely identifies Black and brown people, leading to wrongful arrests. And large language models are more likely to recommend the death penalty for people who use African American vernacular English in their defense testimonies as compared to people who use standard English. These systems don't make the justice system better. They make inequality more efficient. Technology doesn't have to work this way, though. What if we could use the power of AI not to punish, but to repair? What if technology could help people take accountability, mediate harm, and make sure the basic needs of our communities are met so that we can prevent violence from happening in the first place? What if we could make prisons and police obsolete? These are the questions why I founded AI for Abolition. We started with a year-long research project working with transformative justice and restorative justice practitioners. We interviewed them and we brought them together in community so they could build and dream up solutions to the common problems that they were facing in their work. Burnout, the burden of immense amounts of emotional and administrative labor when it comes to holding the intense and heavy stories of the people that they were working with and trying to support. We found that they had sophisticated critiques of technology, even though many of them considered themselves tech novices. For example, they spoke of a deep distrust of artificial intelligence's ability to replace the human connection that was so central to their work. And they also shared a common concern that the tools that they relied on were actually surveillance arms of the state, but they didn't know of any viable alternatives to those technologies. Still, they desired trustworthy machine learning models to help them analyze and understand vast amounts of textual data that they were collecting themselves about the processes that they were facilitating, so that they could track patterns of abuse across different cases and help identify different community interventions and supports. They also craved privacy-first digital spaces where they could build with like-minded people and manage collective knowledge so that no one had to keep reinventing the wheel. So in response to those research findings, we built a flagship product called Repair, which is an app that connects transformative and restorative justice practitioners to each other so they can share resources, train new facilitators, and build their capacity to mediate and prevent violence in their communities. We're also experimenting with open source large language models that can provide hyper-personalized, just-in-time guidance for anyone who wants to lead a reparative circle. Our vision is a world where parents, teachers, counselors, friends, and neighbors have the tools that they need in their back pockets to address harm when it happens without necessarily calling the police, which may lead to more violence happening at their hands. We learned that this kind of technology has to be community built and collectively governed, which is why the next step is to build a team of currently and formerly incarcerated software developers, paying them equitably, building life skills and work experience that will help them when they re-enter society, and valuing the expert knowledge that they bring as people who are closest to the problems that we're seeking to solve. Because artificial intelligence doesn't have to only serve the systems of power that have always harmed us. We can build technology differently, so long as we're willing to center the most vulnerable in our processes. And AI for Abolition is leading the way. Thank you.